The Toyota Prius, it's the hybrid that started the entire hybrid movement and has brought us to the EV movement that we're in now, or maybe shying away from. That's because cars like this deliver 50 miles to the gallon, can accelerate quickly, look really good, and don't cost a whole lot of money. For 2025, there's a few new features, mainly this yellow paint on the Nightshade edition, and I'm gonna take you for a ride inside and out so you can truly see why this car in its 5th generation is still a great buy. New for 2023 and in its 5th generation, the Prius has become normalized. It's no longer the pop icon it was of the green movement. Blame Toyota for that. The success has been so good that not only Toyota, but so many other manufacturers have made hybrids mainstream. The Prius, though, has a lot to offer, still as the original hybrid. New for 2025 is the Nightshade edition. Now, it's painted in the shade of New York City taxi cab, but that is exclusive to this new, basically, appearance package. It blackens the door handles, Porsche style, black 19-inch rims, black badging, and black bumpers. Very different here, and I like it. It's below the limited, so if you want all the luxury trims that comes inside, all the nice features like the JBL stereo, you're gonna have to upgrade from the Nightshade, but I really like the way this looks. Yellow might not be your cup of tea, but in autumn in New England, this Prius fits in very nicely. The silhouette is also extremely rakish, a very large raked windshield, steeper than any Prius before that. It looks, and I've said it before, semi-exotic when you actually look at it up close. Up front, it's got C-shaped LEDs, multiple stacking effects going on here, very bright, and it also echoes what other Toyotas are looking like across this lineup. It's sharp looking. In the back, there's no rear door handles. It has that coupe looking effect. The whole Prius is more refined than it ever was. You cannot make fun of this car anymore. That was the thing to do for decades, not now. And I like the yellow, I just do. To get that pretty and aerodynamic shape on the outside, Toyota had to cut headroom on the inside. Right here, you're gonna have to duck your head a lot to get in and out of this car comfortably. Once you get used to it though, the seats are quite comfortable and the driving position is generally good. The instrument panel is partially blocked by the top of the steering wheel if you have it set that high, and I do, so it clears my knees, because there's not a ton of room inside the Prius. However, the fact that there are analog climate controls, an easy-to-use touchscreen, enough physical switches, and good quality materials everywhere that I'm looking and touching, that is a big plus these days. The lack of headroom does extend to the rear seats. I don't know really what the dimensions are versus previous generations, but it definitely feels tighter right here. However, the fact that you have an adjustable shade here, with your own sunroof, there's some USB-C ports, no air vents on this Nightshade trim, but this back seat actually is comfortable and there's decent legroom. The Prius has 20 cubic feet of space behind the seats, slightly more with those seats folded. There's no official figure. It's a good amount of space, but it's still pretty small. The Prius is noisy, but it's actually quick. Since this car came out for 2023, there's been actual power, which means that the numbers on the speedometer don't tick up like they do tick down on your microwave when you're heating up some coffee. This actually moves like a real car. We're talking 11 seconds to 60 in basically every generation of Prius until now. This one, with all-wheel drive, Toyota says 7 seconds. Every single Prius comes with a 2-liter inline-4. It's running on the Atkinson cycle for max efficiency. It's paired with an electric motor, or two. An electric motor on the rear, such as this car, for a combined 196 horsepower. Total battery size is under a kilowatt hour, in keeping with the Prius tradition of just having a small battery. It's lithium ion, which means over the life of this car, the service cost, even after you've had the federal or the California emissions warranty that covers the battery, the replacement cost is going to be quite low. Now, it's running through a continuously variable transmission, as before, and while the engine is noisy and you always are aware of it, it's just nice to feel that you can move with traffic. And that's what this Prius does, and it does not compromise either on fuel efficiency. On this trim, you're talking 49 city and 50 highway. That's incredible, and that's not even the best one. A lot of the Prius models with front-wheel drive are 52 across the board, and the base LE in front-wheel drive trim is getting as high as 57. And if you want more fuel economy and more electric-only driving, which this Prius as a whole doesn't really do. It'll shut off the engine at moderate speeds and at higher speeds when you're at really low load. If you want that electric-only experience, there's the Prius plug-in hybrid. It was formerly known as the Prius Prime, which we've reviewed separately. And we also review the current Prius plug-in hybrid separately. So go to CarGurus.com and check that out. This Prius generation has a sport mode, and it can be felt and heard, mostly felt. Keeps the engine running for longer. And if you do press the EV mode button, it doesn't work at speeds really higher than 25. It's really meant for city driving, and the Prius has never really had extensive electric-only mode. It's the way it's been able to balance the two powertrains, electric and gas, so perfectly for decades that that's why it's been able to hit 40, 50, or more MPG. But these days, fuel economy is less of a prize. It really is, because even a regular Camry, which Toyota has across its lineup, all hybrid, that's what you get on every single Camry, is hitting the mid-40s, even the low 50s without a problem. So the Prius and its main reasons for being, efficiency, it's not what it was. And that's not really the fault of this car. It's just that everything else in the market has gotten so much better. And Toyota's hybrid system, which it now makes two of, systems like this, and then iForce Max, which is in the trucks like you'll find on the Tacoma, for example. Everywhere you look, you're seeing hybrids. So it's ubiquitous because of this car. What's nice though is that after all these years, I can get in a Prius and actually have a good time driving, not be annoyed by how much of a snail it is, really. It handles well. It doesn't feel really too weird at all either when you're driving. The visibility out the front is great. I would say the visibility at this instrument panel, though, a lot less so. The steering wheel does block some of the view, so the placement isn't very good. I had that same issue, really, in Toyota's BZ4X. So that's an ergonomic quibble. But the car is comfortable, especially in city driving. It's quiet. And like every single Toyota, it handles well, it steers well, the brake regen is perfect. It's just that now, if you want a hybrid, you can pick so many different body styles. What look do you want? The Prius is no longer the only game in town. The Prius really has come a long way. And you can enjoy yourself behind the wheel. Really just feel good. It's just never something that I ever experienced in Priuses prior. Brakes are soft, but you know what this is. The brake regen is non-adjustable, but it feels good. And really, I compare this to the very first 2009 Prius that I tested. Man, it's worlds apart. This 12.3-inch display is optional on every Prius trim except the Limited. I think it's worthwhile to have. Navigation, though, is only standard for a few months to a year, depending on what you have. After that, you got to pay for it. It's called cloud navigation. And really not too much customization here. A few things here and there. The menus are pretty accessible. Typefaces are good. Climate controls are all separate, thankfully. The cameras, really nothing to brag about. But the Prius keeps things simple. And yeah, there's wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, all that good stuff. There's only a 6-speaker stereo on this trim. You got to get the Limited to get the JBL, which only has a couple more speakers. So in terms of technology, not much happening here. Now the instrument panel is nice and simple. However, when I actually adjust the steering wheel where it's comfortable, it blocks half of the view. Not a good way to actually use it. And when you actually do, you'll find that it's quite old. Now, aside from lane departure alert, which is spelled out, you get BSM, PCS, PDA, parking assist, that's spelled out. A lot of these things, you have no idea what it is they do. And coming in here, I mean, it's just an old way to do things here, which really should be on the main touchscreen because you're not going to go into this type of system very often. But the information's there, and like I said, most of it's blocked. The Toyota Prius starts at $28,000. There are 4 trims, each of which has all-wheel drive as an option. As tested, the Nightshade edition with all-wheel drive, $36,000. The competitors include the Toyota Corolla Hybrid, the Honda Civic hatchback, and the rest of the compact sedan and hatchback segment, which mostly are not hybrids. With all of the improvements in this 5th generation Prius, you'd be hard-pressed not to consider it, except there's hybrid powertrains in every vehicle category that you can find. Now, the Prius really did this to itself. Even in the Toyota showrooms, you'll see Corolla hybrids, Camry hybrids. It's everywhere. But that does not take away the fact that this car is actually performing the way it should have always done. Now, with all-wheel drive, all of this style, and a whole lot more value, including a plug-in hybrid if you want it, this car remains the benchmark for hybrid performance. What do you think? And what hybrid or compact car would you choose? Go to CarGurus.com, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we will see you next time.